Okay, good evening. Hello everyone. So welcome to the AWS User Group Meetup. So today we will have several topics, and we will have Samuel to talk about Health 4.0, and talk about rethinking serverless with Flame, a framework of serverless. And me, I will talk about some GenAI stuff again to build an app with just AI. So at the end, we will also have the pizza and drinks. So first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Alex. I'm the AWS community hero in Hong Kong, and we have hosted the Meetup this session since this year, February. So this is the 10th time of Meetup of this year, and this will also be the last Meetup with speakers of this year. Next Meetup will be in the mid of December. We will talk about it near the end of the Meetup. And so AWS User Group Hong Kong, we are not really official AWS. We are the user group of AWS. We are user group Hong Kong and AWS. So we're hosted by users. So the organizers, including me, is we are all leaders. We are all volunteers. And we regularly host on the last Friday of each month, so that's why you're here tonight. And we will still host more Meetup next year. And if you would like to listen to different topics, please mark your calendar, because we most likely will do the same pattern. So that it's more easier for you to reserve the time slot to join our Meetup. And also, we welcome anyone to give a talk here. If you have any interesting topic, you have any interesting thing you would like to share, we are more than welcome to let you to talk about your experience with AWS right here. So I won't talk too much, because we will just go to the first topic today. Please welcome Samuel. To set up your equipment first, if I can pick up mine. Okay, no problem. Let me put it somewhere. So let me do some promotion first. On the next Meetup, we will actually host on 13th of December. So it actually is 2 weeks later. We don't hold it on the last Friday, because I'm pretty sure that most of you will be not in Hong Kong. Okay, you will most likely going to travel, you will visit some other countries. So that's why we will do it sooner, 2 weeks later. And topic will most on events and year-end roundup. And we will have better food. Oh, you're ready, so I will pass the mic to you. Thank you.
Yeah, looking forward to the Christmas party. Yeah, thanks, and I'm glad to have a chance for sharing here today. So my name is Samuel. Today I'm going to share on the topic of the Health 4.0. So I'm not sure how many of you from healthcare background here, or no? It's fine. So, so for today's topic, actually is not only for the healthcare industry, but it can also apply to all industry. And today I'm going to have one of the section on the demonstration on setting up the data lake platform on AWS. So I think today's topic actually it is connected together. So first of all, so it is the data section, and the next one is the serverless. And the last one is generative AI. So I think it's quite connected. So yeah, that's good. So a little bit background of myself. So I'm one of the co-founder of the company Nouvelle Biotech. So this company currently is in Hong Kong Science Park. And I had 6 years experience as the leader of data AI in one of the AWS partner, UGHK. And I formerly also worked in an investment bank in charge of managing the data and also trading infrastructure. So yeah, currently I'm working on the Nouvelle Biotech, driving the Health 4.0. So it is the topic today. Starting from some of the inconvenient truth. So when you look into this population pyramid, So it is reflecting the Hong Kong population in the past 10 years till today, till next year. So it's all about data. So you can see the number of people over 60 age. So from 10 years ago, it was 1.5 million, and now it is already 2.3 million. And 10 years later, it will be growth to 2.86 million. So what does it mean? It means 2 of 5 people in Hong Kong, they are over age 60. So that means it is actually adding lots of workload on healthcare. So what is it related to the topic today, Health 4.0? So it is actually very important today to have something to drive the efficiency, effectiveness of today's healthcare system. So that's why it is also one of the mission of our company to use data AI to improve the efficiency, cost effectiveness of the healthcare industry. I have already passed this slide, it's okay. It is from one of the paper in NIH. It is from the States, one of the paper. So it is describing Health 4.0. It is something can integrate AI, big data, to deliver personalized, efficiency, and cost-effective healthcare. So one of the keywords here I want to mention is personalized and patient-centric. So I have added the logo here. So everything that we want to drive today, so no matter it's a healthcare industry or retail industry, it has to be customer-oriented, customer-centric. So that's the reason data come into this story. Data AI is important. For today's generative AI, it is also giving the personalized experience to the customer. So with today's technology, actually, we can do more. However, for us, if we can do more, it is actually the journey. The journey has to be from level to level, step by step. So from level 1, from here, we have 5 levels, from level 1 to level 5. So from level 1, it is starting from the communication level. Communication means, for the industry, for example, healthcare, so there are lots of different segregated systems, so combined together, but usually they don't have API to call each other. I think it's the same for all other industry. It is not really API friendly. So the first one is now each of the system, they are able to talk to each other. So it is the communication level. And after that, you can enable the insights level. So the insights have to become together with multiple systems. If you just look into the data in one system, it maybe sometimes it's useful. However, you cannot unlock all the value of data. So you have to connect each of the system together so that you can generate more useful insights. From insights, you can do automation. From automation, so that you can generate the recommendation to customer, to the process, and finally, you can achieve the final stage of the personalized. I'm gonna skip these few slides just to talk about the challenges that we are facing today. It is one of the research survey from McKinsey. So the date is quite new. It's in June 7th this year. So you can see it is. I just captured the top 5 challenges that the healthcare industry they are facing. Again, it is not only for the healthcare industry, but it's also applied to all industry. So the first one is talking about legacy systems. They are difficult to upgrade. But I actually want to revise this sentence a little bit. I want to say it is the legacy system. It is not only hard to upgrade, but it is hard to get the data out or to process, to import the data into that system. So AWS, of course, there are some of the tools can help. So I'm going to mention it a little bit later. Second one is about the budget capital limit, and the third one is workforce. So I want to group it together because I think it's related to HR, human resource. And the readiness of adopting the new technology. For example, everyone here today, you are interested in AWS technology, so you are already in the edge of this technology that you can help to bring this expertise to your industry, enabling them doing more. So it is very good to see you, everyone here today. And after that, so it is about the poor data quality, that solution also. And the business and clinical digital collaboration. So this one is quite painful. So collaboration not only means the collaboration between systems, but it is collaboration between institutions. Just to talk about Hong Kong, so the private sector, public sector, they are quite siloed. So hopefully there's some chance to get this change in the next coming few years. So yeah, that's we have to do something for the next few years. Just one advertisement on AWS. So if you search on AWS website, so for the healthcare solution, you can find actually it is organizing quite nice. So you can find from the segments, from the solution, from the technology, how this AWS can help for the healthcare industry. Back to the problem I've shown here. So it is for the legacy system, they are difficult to upgrade or digital switch is too challenging. So for this one, I want to introduce one of the solution on AWS may help on this. It is called Amazon AppFlow. So I've put all the logos here supported by Amazon AppFlow. It can support lots of SaaS platform, the integration for lots of SaaS platform. So it is the transitioning from the old platform to new platform. It is very important. Let's say if you have old platform, if your platform can export data in CSV format or in DAT format, so you can have some massage on AWS and then integrate back those data into your new system, the SaaS platform, through this AppFlow service. If your service is out of this list, of course, there's another service can always help. It is Serverless that we are going to introduce later, and also Glue service. The Glue service that can help with the ETL, and after that, after the data massage, you can import data into your system. Okay, so it is time for demo. In today's demo, I'm going to show you how quickly we can build up the data platform on AWS. Before that, just a bit introduction, background on what I'm going to do. In this demo, I have captured data from the UK NHS database. It is for the doctor prescription data. They are quite open to have this open data portal for you to download the data sets. So for each month, you can download the data sets. Each data set, the size is around 7 GB. So CSV file 7 GB. So for 1 year, it will be sized up to 80 GB, 80 GB. It is already one of the challenge because you need to process that large amount of data. If you just download the CSV file and you try to open it from your laptop, hope you can quickly restart your PC. I have managed to, because of the time constraint, I'm not going to download it now, but I have already downloaded all 12 months of data already. It is a data size. After I download it, it's around 80 GB. Number of rows, there are 250 million rows of data. And after that, because I want to make it more easy to process, first of all, so there are 3 steps. First of all, I convert I compress the data first to the gzip format. And after that, furthermore, I convert the data into package format, package. So this format is quite useful when you are doing the big data processing. It will be really useful. Later on, I'm going to use the Amazon Athena service. Natively, it can support the file in the package format. So after that, you can see after I convert all the data, it's just size around 2.8. So it is 96% reduction of data. So I'm just going to show you the AWS portal. Wait a second. So in AWS portal, so yesterday during my preparation work, I have loaded my data into this directory. It is from S3, so you can use it as data lake buckets. So after you download data into S3, so it is in the gzip format, gzip, cs3.gzip. Maybe I enlarge it a little bit. And even I convert those 7 GB data into gzip, its size around 600 MB. And after that, I use Athena service to process the data. So how do I do the processing? I just show you the Athena portal. You can see my zip code. So here's the way I've stored my query here. So here's the way I process the data. So first of all, I have created one of the external schema in Athena service. And after that, I'll be able to access data by using this query. So the way to create an external schema is here. Just to create an external table. And after that, you just need to specify your location of your S3 bucket. And after that, you need to also specify, because it is CSV file, so I'm using the Open CSV serializer, the serializer. So after that, I specify some of the options here and data schema here. So you may wonder, if you don't know, if you are lazy, you don't want to do it by defining the data schema, how you can do it. That's another service called Glue service, Glue. So after you click into Glue service, and there's the data catalog, there's crawler, and you can create your crawler. I'm not going to do it, but I just illustrate how to do it by specifying the data source. So data source, add data source, that's on S3, and after that you can add new connection to your S3 buckets, and after that you'll be able to run the crawler, so it will be able to generate the database and the table schema automatically. So it is the magic. So you can follow some of the AWS workshop. There are some Athena data lake workshop on AWS. So today it is just because of the time limit. It is just a very short demonstration here. I'm illustrating how it works, and also I'm going to share to you what is the cost of doing that later. And this was the first step I've mentioned. After you creating external schema, so you'll be able to run the query. So the query, and after that, I have another script to convert the data into package format. So converting data into package format, of course, it takes time. So just now, when I run the script, it took me around 5 minutes here. So, but considering converting over 200 million rows in 5 minutes, I would say it is quite reasonable. It is quite good. So after that, after I converted data into package format, I can directly run the query. So converting data into package format is not really necessary, but it is highly recommended because a package it is storing data in a column-based structure. However, if you are reading a CSV file, the problem is the cost. The cost of a dinner service scanning data for 1 gigabyte of data will be costing you $5. It is quite cheap, but 1 terabyte data only $5. But if you are scanning CSV data every time, it will cost you a lot. So better to convert data into package format first. And after that, so you can already run your SQL here. So for example, I have already created the new table called my prescription data package format. And after that, where's the run button? Okay, here. So I can run it. And you can see it only used around 1.475 seconds. And data scanned, so it is just less than 200 MB, so it is quite cheap. So it is the data structure here. So next, it is not finished yet. So I'm going to show you I think it is one of the most powerful servers on AWS. It is called QuickSight. So maybe if you are hearing about the generative AI service, so that's the Amazon Q. But today I'm not going to share to you Amazon Q yet. But for the QuickSight service, you will be able to connect to a dinner service. So just now, before I go into a QuickSight service, I want to share you the cost by doing that. So just now I've mentioned, so data storage, it is just 0.025 per GB on S3. Assuming if I have 1 terabyte data, it just costs me around $25 per month. So and a dinner service, it is 5.5 per terabyte of data scan. So just now, for all the action I have created, I'm using it for the serverless. I can use it for the serverless data lake. So the cost add together, if you use it correctly, the cost can be less than $20 or $30 per month for your serverless data lake. So big data doesn't mean expensive. So it is one of the magic on AWS. And after that, QuickSight, it costs you, for the author, it costs you 24 per user per month. It can be further reduced to 18 if you commit to 1 year subscription. So it is actually quite a good service for the BI tool. Comparing if you are using Power BI or Tableau, the price is really surprisingly friendly of using that service. So now I'm using QuickSight service to share to you how the experience look like, the performance and experience. So to prove that I'm not cheating, so I have to show you I haven't turned on any cache. So some people always they do this kind of sharing. They turn on the cache engine. So every data is already cached in the database. So you can feel the performance is very, very fast. But today, for the data sets here, I'm not doing any cache. So it is the live loading from a dinner service. So the dinner service in the black window I've just shown, it is running the SQL query. Later on, I can show you the SQL query on a dinner service to prove I'm not cheating. So it is my dashboard. So the dashboard, basically, it is showing the chemical components prescribed by the doctor through the year. So it is also in part of that 200 billions of data sets. So just now you can see I've just refreshed the page. It is less than 10 seconds. You can load the whole page. And after that, so you can see I have the first chart showing the top 20 substance, the chemical substance of those medicine that prescribed in UK. So one of the magic in the QuickSight service, it is interactive dashboard. That means you can click on the chart and to trigger the action to update other charts. So let's say if I'm interested in, for example, one of the very common one, I can search for example, loratadine. Loratadine is one of the drugs that can help you relieve from the hay fever. So it is doing the live searching on the database. Loratadine, and after that I click on it. It is doing the live search among that 200 million row of data. You can see how the performance looks like. And after I click on that, it will refresh other chart. So the reason I'm showing you this loratadine is because it is quite seasonal. Loratadine is quite seasonal. So the time that hay fever usually happen is in the summer season. So you can see that's the peak in the summer season, and it dropped a little bit in the winter season. So it is one of the insights that we can get today. So by using this analytic approach, you can quickly query to that 200 million row of data. So back to the 18 window. So you can see for the recent query that generated by QuickSight service. So it is, I open the start time here. So you can see this kind of queries, I run it just now from 18 service, and each of the query is scanned around like 200 something megabytes. So the query speed is quite fast, between 2 to 5 to 7 seconds can finish the scanning and return the results. So that's almost the end of my sharing today. So hopefully it is just at the beginning sharing of the whole journey of the as I've mentioned, Health 4.0, it is not just one step, it is the journey. So hopefully if I have chance next year, I'm happy to come here again to share more about the next journey. For example, how to do the recommendation, and also how to finally make the personalized experience to the customer. So yeah, thank you. Thanks everyone today.
So thank you, John. So the next topic will be from Alan, and it's about rethinking serverless with Flame. So Alan, is Alan here? Oh. So maybe we wait a few minutes.
Maybe we take a 5 minute break first, and we may come back at 7:45.
battery. Battery 電池 battery 使用電。 Okay, so since we have some special arrangement, so we will have to reorder the order of speakers. So I will talk about my session first, to use Ada with Cloud 3.5 Sonnet to build an app. So usually I don't introduce myself because I usually introduce user group instead. So for me, I actually started programming since primary school. I did something like message board, diary, and then I have I would say from my point of view, it's kind of famous website in Hong Kong in 20 years ago. 21 years ago. It's a website called Freeform. At that moment, PHP, BB, and Discuss were very popular form, and at that moment, not so many people know how to host it. And then luckily, I met some Let's friends that they have a hosting company, and then I asked them to use their servers, some of the spare servers, to make the PHP BB freely available to anyone who wants to be the owner of a forum. And then at that moment, according to Elixir ranking, my sites were hosting like the first 300 websites in Hong Kong. But then after that, because I was using some spare servers and it couldn't really handle the traffic, and so that's why I did that. Sadly, at that moment, there were no AWS, so that's why I couldn't host the whole infrastructure myself. Anyway, I don't want to prove anything or talk anything about the forum, but I want to show you that I really love programming because I spent most of my time during my school time in programming, and that's why I graduated with an accountancy degree, because I just couldn't take CS subject during my university life. So that's why I was an accounting degree graduate. Yeah, I didn't take any computer science because I couldn't. I wish I could, but I couldn't take computer science. Anyway, so today I'm going to introduce something that could destroy my career, because the AI tools I would like to show you is something that I do it daily right now. I would like to take this chance to have a sharing, because I also doubt that what will be the future of programming. So I'm not so sure how many of you have heard of Ada, or I'm pretty sure that most of you have heard of Cursor, isn't it? Anyone don't know Cursor? Not the mouse Cursor, it's the software Cursor, okay? Okay, so if you could laugh, that means you know it. So I don't use Cursor because it is closed source, and I don't want to maintain more than one Visual Studio Code. And I'm not so sure if you have heard that recently there's one of the model called Qwen. I don't know if I pronounced this correctly, QWEN, and that model, open weight, not really open source, maybe open weight, and its performance of coding has close to really close to GPT 4.0. So if you are using Cursor, I think, yeah, of course you can have some credit on some most outstanding models. But if I'm not so sure if you have read recent news, POE.com, they have increased their price because they didn't really increase their price, but they have increased the fee of each model credit, and that's why you have to pay more to use the same model. And I think if I also use Cursor, I'm encouraging another kind of closed source software to be dominant. And I think doing programming with AI is really critical in the future. So I want to have a quick survey right now. How many of you have been using like GPT or Claude to do programming? How many of you have done that? Okay, 2, 3, 4. Okay, not so many. Other of you don't do programming, or you don't use at all? Anyway, let me just count. Okay, 7 of you use GPT. How many of you use Cursor? Two only. How many of you have heard of Ada or using Ada? None of you. Really? So it's a good chance for me to show you any other tools that I don't know.
GitHub Copilot.
GitHub Copilot. Oh yes, of course, Copilot. Yes. How can I miss it? We also have Code Whisperer, isn't it? Yeah, because we are in. Just put it together, okay? Code Whisperer. Yeah, I just didn't use that. So how many of you use Copilot? I think much more, right? Yeah, more than 10, yeah. So for me, I'm Ada user, and I heavily use it. Almost every project I use that, and then I still couldn't convince my college to use it. Maybe I didn't provide them a proper training, that's why they don't use it. Anyway, so I got trying to do a demo, really live demo, because one of the points that I didn't have enough time to prepare the whole journey, and then because for LLM and GenAI, you know that every time you run it, it gives you a different results, and that's why I couldn't really present it with a PowerPoint. So in order to use the Ada, let me introduce it first. So this is a command line way to talk with AI, and then it could generate some HTML code for you. It's more like Cursor, but Cursor in a terminal. So it really doesn't sound really interesting because Cursor is so user-friendly. It's so fast to do it instantly. But then anyway, since they are using the LM, I'm pretty sure that they can do the same thing. And how could they do it? Because they're trying to, they're trying too fast. They're trying to put the selected files of yours and then ask the LM to do some like search and replace in the code. So that's why it can handle different, several different files altogether. It's quite different from Copilot. Because for Copilot, it can just prompt the next token, right? It just prompt the next statement of your program. But it can look at your whole architecture or your whole files and then give you a suggestion. Okay, you can change this part or change multiple files. So it's much superior than using Copilot. And I really love this Ada software because it is open source. It also have a leaderboard that whenever there's a new LLM release like O1 preview or the Claude new version, they always test it like 2 to 3 hours, and then they will put the leaderboard results. You can see that from their research or their experiment or their test case. The Sonnet, the October Sonnet is the most powerful one. 84% of the time it can complete the task correctly. And they have also a column for the percent using correct edit format. Because at the end of the day, they are still talking to the LLM using text-based, no matter you are using Cursor or Ada. So they have to restrict the LLM to respond with a correct edit format. Sometimes, if you are asking some very difficult question, or if you are giving them a very difficult task, it will give you a wrong format, and your results couldn't be used. And it also shows you that Claude 3.5 follow the instruction. Always, not always, 99.2% of the time, they follow the format, the diff format. So if you use diff or you use git diff, you may have some concept that they are underlying, they're using the diff format to ask the LLM to give you the new commit. And so I will show you how to do it. It's not just like talking to text. I will show you my daily journey, live code, the daily journey, how I do an app if I have to use Ada. So for me, because I'm a TypeScript React programmer, but because of the time constraint, I open the JavaScript anyway. React programmer anyway. So I usually do both front end, back end, web application, things like that. And I find that the most fluent framework of LLM usually are JavaScript, TypeScript, and React. So that's why I use React. And they also like Tailwind. One of the reasons maybe because all the CSS or all the styling are within one file. So that's why I find that LLM usually perform better with Tailwind and React. And I have a very, very basic structure. I have no secrets in this project. If you just npm start, it is the same old boring nuclear atom React logo. So I want to change it into like any wireframe or any mockup that I could find online. Maybe this one. Maybe if one day you got a design from your designer, and then suddenly your boss telling that, okay, I'm going to meet the investor tomorrow. Can you make it happen? Most of the time it couldn't, right? It's already like 8 o'clock. I couldn't make this lay out for you, but then for Ada, it is possible. So I could just export this layout. So this is the layout, and then copy. So I can copy this layout, and then I could use the command. So here is the command. I just make it in my shortcut. I specify my AWS region because in Hong Kong we couldn't use it, right? Python is a Python program, and then I didn't put any environment there, and then Anthropic 3.5 Sonnet. Oh, I should have used the October version rather than the June version, isn't it? Maybe the October version would be better. And then don't show model warnings, something like that. So I can start talking to my AI. The user command that I will use is paste. I will paste my screenshot into it. So it have added my clipboard image to the chat. And then the next step for me, I have to think that which file I would like Ada to change for me. It could be the index.js because I want to change it to the landing page. So I can type /add source index.js. It's just like talking in Slack. I use slash and then add as a command. So you can see that right now, Ada has two files on hand. One is the screenshot I've given, and then the other is the index.js I told Ada to read it. And then I will say, implement the layout. Of course, if you are a prompt engineer, no, there's no such role. But then if you usually use GPT or Cloud, to provide model, maybe I have used the wrong name. Let me check which is the correct name. The correct name is just this. Oh, it's 22nd, not 20. Let me do it again. So paste it. No, I paste the name of the model. I copy, and then paste it, and then also add my index.js. I could optionally add the CSS, but then since I'm using Tailwind, I would also like the LLM to know that I'm using Tailwind. I just gave the Tailwind folder, Tailwind config to it, and then hopefully it could implement the layout. Let's see if it can do it. This have really limited you. Never mind. Maybe because the most advanced Sonnet is just too popular. I will use the previous one. The result is not that great, but it can still do the work. You may expect that if you have quota to use the most advanced one, you can have a better result. So you can see that it's trying to suggest the changes. It's pretty straightforward if you are a developer, right? It asks you to search the index.css and then replace with this pattern. And for each file you have given, or some file that you didn't give it, it can suggest you to create a new file. It suggests you to, let's create a new file for this. And then trying to replace this boring stuff with this lovely, I'm not so sure, maybe it works. So at the end, if there's no new file involved, it automatically applies this one. But if there's some new file, you play safe and then ask if you want to do it, and yes. And it also suspects that you have an app.js. I didn't give the app.js to it, but then it suspects that this file is related. So that's why the LLM is begging me to give the access to him. Alright, you can get it. And then apply the edit. And it also suggests that you might want to install the React Router DOM and also the React icons. Do you want to run it? Why not? Yes, please. Just run it. And then it will also take that output it also asks you, do you want the LLM to look at the output also? Because sometimes the output has some errors, so you can also pass the output to it. And for this time, I can see there's nothing abnormal. I rather save some token, save some money, and then it also wants to start. No, I can start myself. Well, it asks for so many things. Do you want to see the index.css? Okay, so it said thank you, but then I just don't bother, just do the things, right? And then it's trying to keep on modifying, keep on updating. Why you want to update again? I think it was good. Anyway, in the meantime, let me open another tab. Just let this one do it itself, and I will just npm start to see the result. Hopefully it works. Oh yes. So previously it's the boring React icon, and now it works. Of course, the code quality, well, to be honest, be better than some of my colleges, right? Not so bad, I would say. At least you can fix some remaster or whatever, and then it is selectable. It's not just an image. And then if you look at the detailed implementation, yeah, you see, it even used something like dot map, make it so modularized, right? Even a junior developer couldn't do it, right? Copy, and then, oh yeah, you can see new icon. And of course, cursor can do this as well, I guess. I'm not so sure. But then it is open source. From my experience, it actually costs more than cursor, because cursor only take you like $20 per month. This one, if you are really addicted to it, if you are obsessed with it, you will spend like $50 or $60 per month, because you keep on spending token. If tomorrow suddenly AWS announced that there's a cloud 4.0 and then you have a double cost of it, but then it is better, I'm pretty sure you will switch to 4.0, but then it will cost you more. But then I would say I still would like to support some open source tool, and then I still using my own Visual Studio Code. I'm making another one, and I also have some more, I would say, good stuff that I usually use. So you can see that right now I have some modified files right here, because I have installed the React icons. I have also changed these fill lines. But then you might ask, okay, how about other changes? Why there's no the green bar here showing that there's a new code here? Are you cheating? No, because for Ada, it automatically commits for you. So sometimes I feel I'm feeling a bit nervous, because if my client look at my Git log, they will know that which part of the code are done by Ada. Because you can see that, I should drag it longer. Because you can see that like 1 hour ago, this is my commit, added git ignore. But these two commits, they are very honest. They have a black as Ada. You can see that these two commits are done by Ada, and then it automatically helps you to write the git messages. And right now, I'm also a bit lazy, because for this commit, what would you say? What would you say? Right? I install something, and then I also add a few lines. Just don't bother. /commit, it commit for you. So I added icons and dependencies. So this is this is how one tools, and then I just keep this screen on, and then I just do this, do everything with my screen here, and then for like, maybe I just remove this, or what else you want to do it? Maybe I want to have some hover event on these icons, because right now it doesn't seem working, doesn't seem live. So you just use your imagination, but or also they also support voice. If you're feeling you just don't want to type, you can use voice to ask them to do something, right? You must have OpenAI. No, it's AWS Meetup, so I don't use OpenAI anyway. And some visual events, we show hover to those buttons. So you can see that my English is not that great, but then it's just like how you use GPT or Claude. You just say some random thing and then it works for you. So somehow I think it's very, you could expect it works because it could make the whole screen and this simple task, it should be okay. And yes, there's a whole event, yeah. But then somehow it's really ugly, a bit ugly because it's covering another button. You don't like it, what would you do? It has already committed for you already, right? Commit message, add hover effects to buttons for improve the interactivity. So I can easily type /undo and then it could undo my previous commit and then back to the previous one. And that's why for Ada it has a requirement that you have to use it in a Git repository because it uses the Git to make sure that they allow you to undo and then they don't break the things. And maybe I think this is good enough, and I would like to make it deploy. So how do you deploy a React application? Anyone know how to deploy it? npm build, find an FTP, and then upload all those files, isn't it? No, of course, right? You would like to use a CDN, S3, and things like that. It's very, very complicated. Then what would you do? Terraform, right? So if we have a problem, we have a solution, and another problem, another solution, and learn anything just to deploy some HTML and JS. So what we can do is to make a Terraform file, Terraform files to deploy it. Best practice, please. I just don't know how to do it. And then just ask the LM to, yeah, certainly I can create a Terraform file for you. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, S3 buckets, yeah, that's what I'm expecting. Any more? Do you use CloudFront? Yes, CloudFront. So for me, I have some experience in Terraform, but then after I find Ada, I have no experience at all because I always ask Ada to write Terraform for me. I'm not so sure if Cursor can do it. I'm pretty sure Cursor can do it, but then I'm just really feel happy to just stay in the terminal and then just, yes, create a main.tf for me. Thanks. Variables? Oh, you also got variables? Outputs? Well, what do we do? Version? Wow, you are so nice, creating so many important things. Wow, there's so many things that I can do, and then shall I just deploy it?
Public read.
Oh, public.
You have CloudFront, you don't need public read.
Ah, yeah. So, still, of course, there's a, no, I don't need. So, they also have a link. So they can also read the link's result and then use the link's result to auto-correct the problem that you can see. But since this is, I would say this is not so perfect, you can see here there's some highlights and then deprecated, and then I'm not so sure if you can read it. No, you couldn't. Not so sure, maybe just init and then try apply. Maybe, oh no, it just couldn't work. So if it couldn't work, I think it's very straightforward. You just copy and then just put it back to Ada. For my usual practice, of course, Terraform is a little bit difficult and you have to use your own intelligence to fix this thing. And maybe because I'm using a June version, maybe if I can use the October version, it could work better because it's using a previous one. So I would like to just show you this quick demo, and let me see if I missed anything. Yeah, so for me, I usually use these few commands. So for chat, it means that you just type the things and this is the default chat. If you don't want it to touch the things, you can also use ask. So it's just more like talking with the code. You can use reset, and then I will forget my chat history and then forget all the files that I added. I can then redo the things like add all the TF and then ask. I can just ask first. Do you find any problems? My AWS hero friend said you got something wrong, and then yeah, if you can ask and then it won't touch the file, you just say, oh, security things. Oh yes, it exactly talking about the public read. Yeah, the first thing is public read. Yeah, you're talking exactly the same thing. And if you are satisfied with the ask result, you can just switch it back to the chat mode and then apply the suggestion then, or apply the advice, and then it can fix it. So this is how I usually interact with Ada, and then it just do the things, and I just go to drink some water, go to the toilet, and come back and just run the command. I just don't care. And yeah, and I think this is how I usually work, from design, coding, deployment, or even if you want to add test case, I do all the things with Ada most of the time. I could share one of my projects that not so fun, but then you can see most of the time I still do it myself, but then you can see Ada very honest commit just happen on and on. Sometimes I just, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. 80% of the time I use Ada. Okay, to implement something totally different. What happened on that day? I was implementing an bank reconcile program that I can take my bank inward email notification from Gmail inbox, pause it, put it to DynamoDB, and then also use the screen capture, the payment receipt that I received on WhatsApp, and then do the reconcile together. And then I spend like a day talking with Ada and then complete that features. So this is how I usually work right now. I think this is what I would like to share, but I really want to question myself or question of you is how we could still work in the future, because I really love programming. That's why I would like to introduce that I'm a programmer. I really respect my professions, but then seems like if we have Cloud 4.0, Cloud 3.0, 3.5, Sonnet version 3, I'm really worried that we are becoming like, we don't need any junior programmer at all, right? Of course, you won't trust that it can complete all the works, but how could junior programmers survive? Because it could already do all the junior works. What I'm doing now is like senior, and then asking junior to do things, and I'm just trying to supervise and then just trying to fix their bugs. So I have no answer. I don't have an answer myself. So just look forward, and then hopefully next year we'll still have so many interesting development to go on, and then we can still host more live coding meetup in the future. So thank you. I think it's time for me. I would like to, because I'm also the host, so I would like to then introduce another speaker, Alan. You may take some time to set it up first. Yes, I just
keep stacking the left.
You can stack this one.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
So Alan is going to introduce some framework. I actually take a look to Alan's website, and then I saw his blog post also talking about this. So I'm really looking forward to learning some more serverless framework. Oh yes, it's here. Okay, it's time for you.
Okay. Just a quick question. Who here is a developer? Just raise your hand. Okay, mostly developer. Anybody just not working in like writing code but interested in tech? Just so I have an idea of the audience. Okay, so we have a good mix. Okay, cool. Couple of background things. So first of all, have anybody ever heard of Elixir before? Raise your hand. Elixir. Okay, a couple. Has anybody ever used WeChat? Cisco routers? Google? I think nobody here's ever used WhatsApp before, right? Has anybody used WhatsApp? It's obviously a joke. Everybody probably used WhatsApp here, right? So basically what I wanted to say is all these services are all using Elixir or Erlang, which is basically about the same thing. So it's kind of like this niche language that is made originally for telephone systems. So whenever you make a phone call, usually it's going to go through an Erlang node or an Elixir node. So you may have never heard the language before, but it's really, really powerful. A lot of companies are using it to help, power their systems. The problems that it's solved in the past is actually what's solving what we need to solve actually right now. High scalability, low downtime, quick access, right? Just a real quick story before I get started. Who here watches sports? Oh, I don't watch, so it's okay, but have you heard of a website called Bleacher Report? Okay, it's a pretty popular website. They used to have about 150 servers running Java and Ruby, and they replaced their servers with Elixir, and they went from 150 down to 5, and they're thinking to turn off another 3 of them. So it's pretty powerful stuff. So what I want to talk about today is Flame. I'm going to go over what is Flame, but first I want to kind of go over a couple other things. So here's the agenda. So it's a little bit about me, so you know who I am. The cloud conundrum, right? The issue with cloud that we have. The challenges of scaling applications, testing problems we have with the cloud, rewriting your code. I'm not going to go through every single point, you can kind of read it. So about me, right? So I've been coding for over 16 years. I host 3 different podcasts, one about Elixir, of course, Flutter, and Rust. I've worked at Motorola, Credit Suisse, Bank of America, and I'm also a technical reviewer for Pact and Manning, the 2 different publishing companies. And I run my own consultancy called Plangora, and we work with Elixir, Rust, and Flutter. And these are just some of our projects that we worked on. Now, this is the cloud conundrum, right? Who's ever heard of WordPress before? Probably everybody's heard of it right now because of the whole fun stuff going on right now. Why I call it the cloud conundrum is because with cloud, things can be very, very, very complicated very, very, very quickly. Traditionally, you would just deploy your WordPress application on one server, but this is an actual reference implementation about how you would use AWS to host WordPress, it's quite complicated. You can find this online if you want to see more information about this. And so really, part of the challenge of the scaling applications is that you need to understand which service you need to use and why, and also how to configure it. And the learning curve for scaling using the cloud is really quite steep and very, very time consuming. I remember when I started working with AWS, every time I asked a question to somebody, they would just send me a link to a very long documentation page that I needed to read. So I totally understand how complicated it could be. And if you make a mistake, you can definitely cost your company lots and lots of money. There's a lot of people talking about this online. You can see many, many horror stories of thousands of dollars spent on the cloud. Now, the issue too with working with the cloud is that it's not your local machine, right? For most of us are developers over here, you know when you want to test with something and it's all local, it's very easy. But once you start scaling out to different services within AWS, GCP, etc., it becomes quite complicated because you can't really replicate some of those services. I think there may be something for DynamoDB, but I could be wrong. But some of these can be replicated, some cannot. And so you actually have to work with that application. So maybe you have to deploy it to an EC2 or deploy it to some kind of Kubernetes, EKS, etc., and actually use that kind of thing. Or else you can't really replicate what happens because you don't really know, because again, like I said, you can't replicate that locally. So you end up having to spend lots of money doing this kind of thing. So you really end up with a situation, right, where you write code, you're working locally, you write your code, works. Then you have to rewrite it just for the cloud because you want to be able to scale, right? Then you have to configure your application, make sure that you're only using cloud when you're on the cloud, make sure you're using local code when you're on local machine. And then finally test again, make sure you didn't break anything. Same issues I just described. Now, the solution that I see over here is this thing called Flame. Now, what is Flame? Flame stands for Fleeting Lambda Application for Modular Execution. It's quite clear, right? No, just kidding. What it just basically means is that we can actually scale to the cloud by just changing code just a tiny, tiny bit, right? And I'm going to show you what that looks like in a second. But this works great with Elixir because of the way Elixir works is it's able to actually distribute automatically. Distribution is built into the system. What does distribution mean? It means that you can easily send your code or send data to another machine, another server, another service, anything, as long as they're connected. This is built into the language, not something you need to use. There's no Redis involved, no pub/sub server. It's all built into the language itself. Why? Because again, this came from telephone systems. The systems have to actually connect to each other and send data across. So all this stuff that they built in the 80s is useful right now. So this is just some pre-Flame code, so code before using Flame. All it's doing is just making a temporary folder, generating some screenshots using a video, using FFmpeg, putting those there and inserting some data into the database. And this is post-Flame code. I'm not sure if you can see the difference, but I'll show you the difference. Just 2 lines of code. Those 2 on the right, that is what I highlighted. That's the only 2 changes I had to do. So there's no need to worry about complex code configuration, right? How do I, rewrite this so that way I'm doing this way locally, this way on the cloud? need to wrap it with this Flame call, and it will automatically use the proper service for you. This simplifies testing, right? Because you know it's going to work, because Flame is already going to handle this for you. Nothing for you to even do. And most importantly, there's no more rewrites, right? So scaling your application is just adding 2 lines of code, and you can automatically start to scale the cloud. So if you have something very, very specific, in the case of what I was just showing over here, basically reading in a video file, generating PNGs, it's very, very complex and complicated. So we can start to scale that one very easily just by using this one line over here. So again, why Elixir? Because it can scale, and it's kind of got all these things, these niceties built into it. The ability to send data to other services using the primitives built into the language. There's nothing special. No other services involved, other of course than AWS services. And so, like again, just to reiterate, traditionally you'd have to do what's over here, where you have the top chart on the right-hand side. You have your original code that works just fine, and then now you have to have 2 separate branches. One with something cloud specific like AWS, and the other one with your local machine, so therefore you're not relying on the cloud. And on the bottom you have the Flame workflow, which is basically just nearly untouched code. And so, so what would you use Flame for? Well, I mean, for scaling your API, say there's something that's very, very busy, maybe you have a very busy, very powerful website, you have lots of people signing up, you can start to scale specific API calls so that way things can just keep working and you can keep making money. Anything that's computationally heavy, so like we just talked about using FFmpeg to generate files, or anything that's also mining Bitcoin, could be anything, maybe NFTs. And also if you have very, very specific hardware, so in case people, you know, if you're using GPU-based machines, those are very, very complicated, very, very expensive to run, so you want to have less of those. So whenever you get a specific action, you want to use a GPU or something very specific for a specific machine, you can just use Flame to send the call over there and not have to worry about this kind of problem. So Flame just simplifies, development by removing unnecessary complexities. As I said, just adding 2 lines of code will solve this problem for you. It reduces reliance on the cloud services because now you just run your code like you do locally. And it gives you back kind of full control of your code. So that way you're not really worried about kind of this brittle code about is it going to run on the cloud, is it going to run locally? No, it's already handles that for you out of the box. And that's the end. Sorry, I wanted to be quick today because I know everybody's hungry, right?
I have a question. So you talk about GPU cases. I mean,
yeah.
If I'm running locally, but I don't have the GPU, so how do you?
Yeah, so this is a great question. There's some code I skipped because I didn't want to be too Elixir specific and maybe bog you guys down with details. So what it is that there is a, I guess I can be kind of specific. I just worry making people fall asleep if they're not into the program. There's just some slight configuration you have to do. So you just say, okay, I'm going to use Flame. I want to use this backend. Backend is basically, it could say, okay, it could be Lambda. It could be K8s, Kubernetes. And you just say what backend you want to use, and of course how you do that, right? How you connect to it, and it'll automatically handle the rest for you. And you can mix and match what you want to do. So you could also say, okay, sometimes Lambda, sometimes Kubernetes, etc. And you just specify the configuration. So if I just roll back a little bit over here, you see this myapp.ffmpeg runner. That's basically configured somewhere else, saying when I call this Flame module, I want to run using that Flame module's configuration. So that's why it's a little bit of a mystery, but I wanted to skip that kind of detail.
Got it. Thank you.
So clear, right? Okay, I didn't want to be too specific for you guys. If nothing else, then pizza time? Great.
Thank you. Okay, so I know you guys are hungry, but then we still have some promotion as usual. So I think we are not yet preparing the souvenir yet. We have it already? Great. So we are. So meanwhile, we are preparing the souvenirs. Maybe I can talk about the announcement first to save some time for the end. So as usual, we are talking about certificates. So if you still don't get all these certificates yet, just take time to get it. And also the new certificate for these two. I think they are still the early adapter right now. So if you are not developer, of course it is a great certificate for you to take for the first one. This is already expired, so let me skip this one. Okay, this one hasn't expired. So if you are still new to AWS, or you're still new to technology, maybe today is just too difficult for you. Anyway, but you can still get the half price off for the Cloud Practitioner Foundation. If Cloud Practitioner is just too easy for you, and then we have Associate, also half price. We still have 2 weeks more for registration, and then you can take the exam in the happy Merry Christmas, during that time, So no, not next time. We have to present the souvenir right now. So may I invite first speaker Samuel?
呢個咩嚟㗎？我唔想知。哦，好靚喎呢個。好 ，thank you，thank you。
And
I have a lot of questions to ask.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
thank you. So it's a group total time. As usual, we take from that side, right?
係咪？可以影過嚟嘛？可以過嚟，係咯。哦，係咯。哇！好痕啊！
大家可以埋